Hi guys, look at what I got in the post. Isn't this amazing? It's a Golden Girls t-shirt. I heart Miami. Laura, thank you so much for sending me this. I really love it. It's so sweet of you to send me this super cool t-shirt. I use the Golden Girls tarot sometimes in my daily tarot readings, so you must have seen one of those videos. And it's so sweet of you to go through the effort of buying this and posting it to me. I'm really, really grateful. So Laura, thank you so much. And on that note, I just want to take a quick moment to say thank you guys so much for supporting me on this channel, for watching my videos, for being part of this little community that we've built here. I don't speak about this all the time because I've mentioned it in some of the videos where I hit subscriber milestones, but I hope you know that I am so grateful for this channel. It really has changed my life. I get to speak about the things that I love to talk about, and I get to do this full time. So it has been life-changing for me. I'm so grateful for your support and for you being part of this channel. It really means the world to me, and I hope you know that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This video is on the full moon in Gemini, which is also an eclipse. So it's a regular full moon that's interrupted, and the energy sticks around for 6 months. So this is really significant. It happens on the 30th of November 2020 at 9:29 in the morning. And that's based on London time. So this is like a regular full moon. The two luminaries in the chart, the sun and the moon, are 180 degrees away from each other. The moon is fully lit up, and during a full moon, the moon reaches its monthly completion point and it lets go of its energy. It showers us with its energy, in this case, Gemini energy. But because it's interrupted, it doesn't get to express all of the energy that it has, and that's why it sticks around for the next 6 months, influencing us positively in this case. What happens in terms of the actual mechanics here, the sun and the moon are away from each other. The earth moves in between them. The sun lights up the earth then casts a shadow, and that shadow falls onto the moon. So it's going to look like a regular full moon. It will darken at some point, like the light will dim a little bit, and that's the interruption before the earth moves on and the moon lights up again. I think, if I remember correctly, you can see this in North and South America and parts of Asia, but I only looked at that briefly. As far as visually this eclipse is concerned, it's not one of the big events where you get the glasses out and, you know, it's like a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse where they completely black out. It's not like that. The full moon is going to get a little bit darker and then return to normal. So if you don't see it live, you know, it's not like you're missing the event of the millennium here. But in terms of the astrology, it's really significant because the energy does linger and influence you for the next 6 months. So first off, the sun is in Sagittarius at 8 degrees. The sun is the center of our solar system. It's really what gives you a sense of power and drive. If you think about the chakra systems, or chakra system, you've got the solar plexus at the center of your torso, and that's yellow. It's like a sun, and astrology and all of these spiritual principles are kind of based on as above, so below. So if we have a sun in our solar system, then we have a sun in our human system as well. And it gives you control. It gives you this sense of, this is what fires me up in life. This is what gives me a sense of joy. This is what I'm into. This is generating a sense of enthusiasm. It's what I really love to do. It's at 8 degrees, so 8 in numerology is about power, and that works very well with the sun being the central body in the solar system that lights up everything else. If it weren't for the sun, none of these other planets would really matter. So that 8 is really very much aligned with the sun. So you're going to feel hugely confident during this eclipse. You're going to come to terms with yourself. You're going to feel like there is a future, that there is something that you can plan, that you have control over your life. And we don't always have that. Sometimes external circumstances come in and we feel powerless and we feel like we can't change anything. This is very different. It's going to give you the sense that you are the master of your own destiny. You can design your life to be whatever you want it to be. And you really have control about the path that you're taking. So Sagittarius is a fire sign. I love Sagittarius. It's the one fire sign that happens in the winter. The astrology is based on the northern hemisphere. So the fire isn't out there in the world somewhere, it's in here. And that again works perfectly with the sun at 8 degrees because it's really focusing on that solar plexus. What empowers me? What do I enjoy? What path do I want to take? Not what path does my granny want to take, or my son or my daughter or whatever it is. It's really getting back to yourself and taking your power back. And that's really useful if you have lost your way recently. And it's interesting, in the tarot, I've also spoken about this in the last week. So there's been an energetic build-up moving towards this eclipse. It's really about taking your power back and saying, okay, I am where I am. I've experienced what I've experienced. What do I want the future to be? And Sagittarius is great because if you think about the symbol, half horse, half man with his bow and arrow, he doesn't care about the past. He's thinking, what am I going to shoot, or where am I going to gallop to? It really is this almost unspoken acceptance that you are where you are in your life and that you don't need to question that. And it also gives you the confidence to say, with what I've got right now, I am able to create whatever I want my future to be. So it's almost so optimistic that it gives you this huge sense of control and power and ability to navigate your life and your circumstances and to build on them and to improve them. Jupiter is the lucky planet. It rules Sagittarius. So there is also an element of luck involved. So if you take accountability and control of your life, not so much accountability because that would be going into, okay, this is what has happened. It's almost like this is built-in natural accountability. It's like, I know where I am. I don't need to analyze it. I don't need to go over this. I can say, okay, that was then, this is now. And also what I really feel strongly about this is that just because my life has been a certain way doesn't mean it has to be that way in future. So it's almost like giving yourself a clean slate, and saying, I'm going to have a do-over here, and I'm really going to charge ahead with what I've got, and I can really thrive and grow in any way that I want. The moon is at 8 degrees in Gemini on the other side of the chart, 180 degrees away from each other. So the moon is what gives you a sense of ease and comfort. It's what makes you feel at home. It's your intuition. It's the thing that you feel at 3 in the morning, you know, when you wake up and it's like, oh, what do I have to do during the day? It's that innermost sensitive part of you. It can also be your conscience. It can be the connection with your higher self. It's all of the things that are unmanifest and unseen. At 8 degrees, you really are able to tap into your true feelings. So I'm taking this new path in life. Am I really sure about it? Yeah, I am. I'm not just listening to other people and what they think I should be doing or the direction I should be going on. This is what I care about. This is what I feel to be authentic and useful to me. So if you have strong feelings here on the 30th of November, on Monday, you can really trust those feelings. This is you speaking. It's your higher self talking to you and saying, I would like us to move in this direction, and it's really important that you listen to that. The universe wants you to succeed. It's speaking to you with the moon being in Gemini. You'll be able to hear that message very clearly. And also think about the elements. You've got Sagittarius in fire, Gemini in air. If you take an actual fire and you give it lots of air, it's going to grow and blow up. If you heat up air, it's going to move much more quickly. So your ideas, your inspiration is really superpowered on this day. And you're certainly not going to be short of ideas and inspirations and desires for the future. So Gemini in itself is an air sign. It's ruled by Mercury, the communication planet. Mercury rules 2 signs. It rules Virgo, and that's about listening and taking information in. And it also rules Gemini, and that's the opposite. That's about making sense of things or having made sense of things and not being in the past, being in the present. This is what I know now, and this is what I want to express. And this is what I want to give back to the world. So it's like putting your own personal stamp on things and saying, hey, I've read this book too, and this is my opinion. I want to articulate that. And by being open about what you think and what you feel, and it doesn't need to be verbalized. I mean, you can have a word with yourself, so to speak. It's like, I really know what I make of this situation and what I want to do. So it can be communication with yourself, or you can articulate your ideas and your thoughts either through speaking, writing, music, art, something creative, design, pottery making, fashion design, telling jokes, anything like that, that really connect you to the world. And because of that connection, a door opens up. So it's a doorway of opportunity. If you look at the glyph of Gemini, you've got the Roman numeral 2, and that is a doorway. That symbol comes up in tarot a lot. The image that's coming to mind is the High Priestess. She sits between a black pillar and a white pillar. And the message is that it doesn't matter what your circumstances are, good, bad, you're unified, you represent the whole. And by honoring your own inner voice, and by honoring what you have made sense of and what you think is important, a doorway opens up for you that you can walk through. Now, we don't just have the moon in Gemini, we've got the sun in Sagittarius, remember? Little horsey. And it's not just walking through a doorway of opportunity, it's galloping through it. So by being authentic, by listening to your own guidance, your feelings, your ideas that the kind of muses whisper into your ear, and by honoring those messages, doorways of opportunity open up for you in your life that you can gallop through, and you can make a lot of progress. So you can get a lot of things done here. Speaking to other people is going to open things up. Applying for jobs, thinking about travel, thinking about moving, thinking about the next job that's on your to-do list, looking at new relationships, connection with people, with things that you enjoy. All of those are really within reach, and you can access those. And it's not just about identifying what it is you like and moving towards it. It's having this innate knowing of, okay, this is the next step. Because I don't know about you, but certain things in my life, like for instance, when I moved to Brighton for a year, that was something that came to me and that felt really right. I didn't even question it. It was an opportunity I had at the time, and I took it. And that's the kind of thing we're looking at with this eclipse. It's not about analysis and sitting back and being contemplative. It's about being certain and saying, yes, this is great. I love this. I'm going to move forward with this. So not only can you make good decisions, but you can make a lot of progress. So if you apply for a new job today, it's really looking good for you. If you want to go for a job interview, or you want to present something, it's a really good day. You're confident, you know what you believe, you're not self-conscious, and you want to share that with other people. So it's really a fabulous day to take risks and to engage with other people, with things in your life, with places, anything where you can make a dent in a circumstance or in some sort of a situation where you can get involved and have an influence. Anything like that is going to work in your favor. Now, the moon forms a lot of relationships with other things in the chart, so I just want to see what that means. First of all, the moon at 8 degrees in Gemini forms a quincunx with Venus at 10 degrees in Scorpio. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, creativity. It's being nurturing, it's focusing on what you can give to add love to a situation. 10 reduces to 1 in numerology, and that's about being a pioneer, being independent, doing things off your own back. It's the magician in the tarot, so it's all about connecting with your true self, which you have no problem doing today because of the sun-moon placement. And with it being in Scorpio, you're really able to dive into this pool of hidden emotional strength, things that are usually unseen, things that you usually push aside, things that you don't want to be true. So with the planet Venus at 10 degrees in Scorpio, you're not afraid of where you are in your life. And that brings us back to this Gemini symbol of the 2 pillars, because it doesn't matter if you're on top of the world right now or if you're really, really struggling. You're not going to be afraid of your circumstances. You're able to accept them for what they are. And that's really the key to changing anything. In the 12 steps, they always say, what you resist persists, and what you accept, you can kind of move out of and you can build on. So it's this amazing acceptance that you are where you are in your life, and that is okay, and that gives you a nice foundation. And also, I'm being told that it gives you an understanding of how far you've come despite your circumstances. So it's not just acceptance, it's a sense of pride that you have achieved as much as you've achieved, considering what has happened to you. And that is, if the worst things in life have happened to you, or the best things, you're able to embrace all of them. You're able to say, this is it. I have a lot of information, I have a lot of energy to work with, and through being loving to myself, to other people, to the world, and asking how can I connect with the world, you're able to transform that and really open the path for you to move ahead. So it's not about diving into the pool and staying there, it's about diving in, getting the treasure chest at the bottom, bringing it up to the surface and saying, hooray, party, let's go for it. The moon then also forms a sesqui square with Pluto and Jupiter sitting in Capricorn. Wow, and they're 3 degrees apart. People who are born during a Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn conjunction, when 2 planets are within 10 degrees of one another, they're said to be conjunct. They're said to kind of join forces and the energies blend. Now, Jupiter and Saturn, they meet once every 20 years. So Jupiter is the lucky planet that rules Sagittarius. Saturn is the planet of structure and security. It's like the emperor in the tarot, and that rules Capricorn. They meet once every 20 years, and if you were born during a time when they meet, it was in, it'll happen in 2021, it happened in 2001, 1981, 1961, every 20 years like that. It really gives that person an exceptional ability to either create real structure in the world or to connect with invisible structure. So to have this mystical ability to understand what your higher self wants for you and to translate that into the physical real world and to do something about it. So the fact that they're 2 degrees away from each other, that's amazing, because any action you take on this day is really going to build this amazing long-term, permanent, solid foundation from which you can move forward from. So Sagittarius is saying, ignore the past, let's gallop forward, let's have fun. Jupiter and Saturn are saying, okay, Sagittarius, you go run and you go do your things. Luckily, we're giving you a nice, solid ground or pathway on which you can actually gallop. So again, that emphasizes the fact that if you take your power back, if you stand in your power and you say, this is what I want, and therefore it is very, very valid, Jupiter and Saturn provide you this amazing road that you can gallop down. Pluto sits on top of Jupiter, 3 degrees away from Jupiter, and Pluto and Jupiter and Saturn, they meet like once every 80 years. It's really, really rare for all 3 of them to sit together. And Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth, transformation and change. And it's at 23 degrees in Capricorn. 2 and 3 is 5. 5 is freedom in numerology. Capricorn is being practical, working towards success. Think of it as the 9 of Pentacles in the tarot. Through self-discipline, I'm able to alter my circumstances so that they please me. And Pluto can change your whole life by stepping into your power, getting practical. Pluto rules Scorpio, remember, and it's really about taking something that's light and turning it around, or taking something that's dark and negative and turning it into something positive. So if you take certain actions on this day, actions that come from you, not your employer, not your granny. I don't know what I've got with the granny, but she must have been very opinionated. But if you take your own actions, you really have the potential to transform your life. And because we've got Jupiter and Saturn there, permanently in your favor. So it's really important that you connect with yourself a little bit and say, hey, actually, what is December about? What is 2020 about? How do I see myself? And where do I want to get to? So do you want to buy a house? Do you want to go on 3 holidays next year? Do you want to start your own company? Do you want to work towards being in a really healthy relationship? Ask yourself what it is you want. It's really important that you allow yourself to want certain things out of life. You can get whatever it is that you want. Your desires aren't this unreasonable, horrible thing. You have your desires, your wants for a certain reason, because usually they are within your reach. And with this eclipse, everything is going to seem within reach. So it's almost optimistic to the extent of putting on rose-tinted spectacles, but sometimes we need to fake it to make it. Sometimes we need to be overly optimistic to do certain things. If you knew exactly how hard everything was going to be, then you'd be like, oh, you know, a little bit too much. If you realize that you can do this, that if you apply yourself, you can overcome the obstacles that are guaranteed to be on your path forward, because we do live on planet Earth, there are obstacles, then you give yourself that boost and the confidence to actually move ahead, and you need that. So this is so empowering, and it really allows you to override your inner reluctance. The moon forms another relationship. It forms a square with Ceres, which I always see to be the cornucopia of wealth and abundance at 3 degrees in Pisces. But before I look at that, I just want to go back to Pluto, Jupiter and Saturn, because you'll see that there's another symbol in this chart next to me between Jupiter, the lucky planet, and Saturn, the planet of structure, and that's Pallas Athena. That's an energy I look at. I've included this in the chart. I've put this in manually. Pallas Athena to me represents the warrior goddess. She represents action and the ability to move forward from an inner place of knowing. That's at 27 degrees in Capricorn. So again, that gives you this amazing certainty that you've learned enough, you've contemplated enough, you've tried to make sense of things. It's, you know, cool your heels a little bit. You can only analyze so much, and it's time for you to stop reading as such and absorbing information, and it's really time to do something with it. It's time to get busy, it's time to get practical, it's time to move along on your path. 2 and 7 is 9. 9 is spirituality and completion in numerology. It's the hermit in the tarot, and the hermit has this inner light that guides him. And we've got a sun at 8 degrees in Sagittarius. You have all the light in the world, you have all the confidence and self-belief that you will ever need. So you don't have to be like some guru to connect with your higher self. All you have to do is take a second to be in your body, to be present, and you'll feel that bonfire within saying, let's go, let's do something, get excited. The future looks sunny and rosy and positive. So going back to the square between Ceres and the moon, Ceres at 3 degrees in Pisces means that by connecting with your higher self and by looking to the invisible to guide you, which sounds a little bit, we don't do that on planet Earth, I don't think. Most people say, okay, this is what my life is, these are the options, and that's what I will respond to. But Ceres is saying, actually, you have someone on your side who knows everything, not just your existing circumstances, but your past circumstances, your current, your present circumstances, and the future circumstances. Plus, it knows all about your higher good and the potential of your life. It ignores the current circumstances because your circumstances are reflections of decisions you've made in the past. And Ceres allows you to, again, give yourself that clean slate and to say, okay, it's time for some new decisions. Let's hear what it is we're excited about, what we want to do. Let's take those on board and actually listen, not dismiss your ideas. Because a lot of people are intuitive and psychic. They don't use their gift because they feel like they're just making it up. And it's like, oh, okay, thanks universe for sharing. Whatever. This doesn't make any sense, I'll ignore it. And that's a wasted opportunity, because on this day in particular, the universe is going to give you very, very specific messages which will enrich your life in the future. I've got my own tarot deck, the Gregory Scott Tarot, and I can't remember which card it is. I think it's the 7 of Pentacles, I could be wrong. But we've put in an image of a woman with a cornucopia. It's like a giant seashell that she's holding over her shoulder, and all these apples and coins and wealth and abundance comes out of this cornucopia of wealth and abundance, and it's eternal. It just showers you with prosperity endlessly. And that's what Ceres is to me, because we all have the potential to access these infinite amounts of treasures and wealth and prosperity. If you think about the air that we breathe, right? You would never put a limit on the air and say, oh, don't go running today, you know, we're in short supply of air, don't want to waste all of it. there's an infinite amount of it. So you can do whatever it is you want. You can breathe as heavily as you want. And the same way we have an infinite supply of air, we also have an infinite supply of abundance and prosperity on this planet. And if you tap into that cornucopia of wealth and you let yourself be showered with it, you can take the action to realize that and to manifest it in your actual life. And Ceres just says, all you need to do is connect with yourself, not as some, super trained guru, but just as a normal person saying, okay, what is it that I like? What do I want my life to be? That's enough for you to access this, to really get ideas which are going to serve you very, very well. Okay, those are the relationships the moon forms, but we also have a major aspect pattern in the chart. You'll be able to see this if you tilt your head a little bit. It's a big blue triangle called a grand trine, and it connects Ceres with the descendant in Gemini at 29 degrees. The descendant is the horizon where the sun goes down, where the sun sets, okay? It's that position. And it connects with the midheaven in Scorpio, and the midheaven is noon, lunchtime. So we've got abundance connecting with in Pisces, with the descendant in Gemini, and the midheaven in Scorpio. That's interesting because usually grand trines are in one element. They give you a talent to tap into a certain energy. This one taps you into the energy of being able to communicate both with your inner self, the things that you usually hide from yourself, so the things that you're unwilling to look at because they're painful, and it connects you to your higher self, so that voice that guides you. I mean, some people would call it their conscience. I don't think the higher self is the conscience because it doesn't control you. It doesn't tell you how to behave. It just makes suggestions. It says, wouldn't it be nice if you had your own business? What do you think? It connects you with that easily. And then with Gemini at 29 degrees, when you take that information and you stop dwelling on it, but you say, okay, I accept it as real today. I'm not going to question myself endlessly. I'm just going to take it, believe it, and do something with it. That's when the doors open. That's when the opportunities come your way. And because it's at 29 degrees, 2 and 9 is 11. 11 is the master number of service. You'll be able to help yourself and other people because you inspire them, and you may end up doing something that's really valuable to other people. I know Gemini is a Roman numeral 2, but you can also look at it as 11, and then we've got the 29 degrees, 2 and 9, 11. We've got 11, 11. And 11, 11 is my favorite time of the day because it's that moment where anything is possible. And if you have two options, like you're standing in a hall of mirrors and you've got two exits, at 11:11, what you can do is say, I don't like option A, I don't like option B. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my magic finger and draw another doorway, another exit in this hall of mirrors. I'm going to go that way. You are the master of your own destiny. You get to decide which magical route you're going to take. And the universe really supports that. So you're thinking completely for yourself. You are overflowing with self-confidence and enthusiasm for the future. And it's really the best day to start over, or to start something new, to start a new enterprise, or the first step of a new journey, of a new adventure. It also gives you the energy to say, hey, I'm actually going to do this. Because a lot of people will have great ideas and feel excited about things, but then as soon as the inspiration comes, it's like, oh yeah, but what about the post office, and what about the legal things that I have to adhere to, what about the money involved? And it's like, as soon as the idea is alive in your mind, your ego jumps in and says, but no, you can't, this is why, and it dies before it even takes a breath. So this is an idea germinating in your own mind, and then having the ability, the energy, and the drive, the confidence to see it through, and not to let yourself be put off by the difficulties that will be inherent in any journey. Because, none of us live on easy street. I've been to lots of places, I've never seen an easy street. So this is, whatever road you're on, you're going to be able to shape it so that it is walkable and doable for yourself, and it's something that can really enrich your life, and you can build a whole new life today. So let's see what else we've got. I'm just kind of tilting my head to see what's in this. We've kind of got a yod, but it's squished at the top. So even I, generous usually as I am with the aspect patterns, I'm not going to count this as a yod. We do have a yod though, another one. We have Mercury, the communication planet, next to the sun there. Then we have a sextile, so it's 60 degrees away from Jupiter, lucky planet, Pallas Athena, warrior, and Saturn, structure. And then they both form quincunxes with the descendant in Gemini. The yod is known as the finger of God, and it's a real special support, kind of a supportive energy that you're being given on this day, which you can really use. So Mercury at 27 degrees in Scorpio, again, you have access to the inner and the outer, and that's why there's very little room for self-doubt. You just know yourself. And as soon as you know yourself, it's like, okay, I embrace this, I accept it, and I will do something about it. It connects with those outer planets and the asteroid Pallas Athena in Capricorn. So that gives you the wherewithal to say, okay, how am I actually going to make this happen? And then on the descendant, you're able to run towards the horizon to whatever it is you're looking for in your life that has eluded you up until now, and you're able to walk through that door and you're making progress, and you will get to, you know, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, the thing that is out there that you're trying to get to. So you're not struggling to get something, you're not struggling to grab and pull. You accept yourself as you are. You're like, with this acceptance, I have the perfect time and space to now move forward of my own volition. And by moving forward, oh, I've taken 3 steps, and suddenly I'm with the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It becomes much more accessible. The horizon that's been so far away your whole life is now suddenly right here, and you're able to reach it. And that's another thing that says, not only are you able to open these opportunities for yourself, you actually have the practical sensibility to make progress, to achieve what it is you want to achieve, to get there, to make it, to succeed. And all with a sense of acceptance and fun and enthusiasm. And that's, it's good to the point where it's almost like, you know, when you're in a good place in life and when you're feeling great and when you're optimistic, life gets easy. Because people want to be around you, laugh, and the world will laugh with you. But it's when things are difficult and you're struggling and you want someone to reach out and to rescue you and to help you, it's like crickets, tumbleweeds, no one's around. And I'm laughing because this is so good that life really does get easy, because people will want to be around you and your sunny, positive energy. People will see you succeed and they'll be like, oh, I want some of that too. So make sure that you don't carry someone else's school books, you know. Make sure that you're focusing on your destiny, that you're standing in your power, and that you're responsible for yourself. And if someone says, well, you know, can you like do this for me because I don't want to? No, I don't. I can't. I'm doing my own thing. Thank you very much. And that's not selfish. It's important that you put that boundary in place, because you're the master of your destiny. You're not the master of Tim's destiny and John's destiny and Bob's destiny. It's yours. Okay, anything else? Let's see. We have got, I want to say T-square, but no. T-square is an opposition in 2 squares, creating like a triangle. And I thought I saw one, but there isn't one. Or is there? There is. The sun and the moon oppose each other, and then the moon forms a square with Ceres, yes, and then it forms another square. Does it? Yes. With, oh, the sun in Sagittarius, obviously, yeah. Okay, it's through this abundance of positivity and your ability to actually see opportunities, that's when you hear kind of ka-ching, or you hit the jackpot, or it goes ding ding ding, like hooray, you win the lottery as such, because the cornucopia of wealth then floods you with really good, useful spiritual information that you can work with, implement, and that helps you get to where you want to go. So that is great. Anything else? I think that's it. Let me just take a moment here to see if I've looked at all the relationships. I don't want to miss anything. So we've got the Moon and Venus, yep. The Moon and the Sun, Pluto and Jupiter, got it. And Ceres, yep. And that is it. Yeah, I'm just being drawn towards Black Moon, Lilith, and Chiron. I always like talking about them because it's the ego in the chart, and it's really a nice, easy way to see where you're trying to be sabotaged. And if you know where your ego, your lower self, is trying to sabotage you, then it becomes easier to avoid it, if you know what it's doing. Black Moon, Lilith at 4 degrees in Taurus is going to say, hey, but what about what you've done already? Don't you want to maintain what is? Don't you want to grab onto and secure what you've already got? The answer is no. I want to realize my amazing, wonderful future. I don't want to check my bank account and see how many pennies I've earned over the last 20 years. That's a potential pitfall, because then you're focused on the past and what you've got. You're not focusing on what could be and what you're building, and that's what this is all about. Chiron at 5 degrees in Aries says, ooh, don't be too confident. You might fall on your face. Don't take action. Listen to other people. And again, the whole thing has been, you have self-confidence and abundance. Your cup is running over with enthusiasm. So again, letting yourself be crippled by self-doubt is exactly that. It's debilitating, and you're not going to be able to use this day the way it ought to be used to maximize your own potential. So that's the way the ego is trying to kind of, put a spanner in the works here to keep you from succeeding. So letting go of what is, realizing that you can do things on your own, that you're meant to do things on your own, and no one knows you better than you do. No one knows what you enjoy. If you've been working, I think I've made this example before, but if you've been working as a gardener for 30 years, people are going to see you as a gardener. And then when you say, well, I've always wanted to work in the circus, they're like, what? This is the first we've heard of it. But if you actually and then they'll say, are you crazy? You've got such a great gardening business. Why would you want to be a trapeze artist? But if you actually just do it for yourself and you become this amazing circus performer, people are like, oh, wow, you're such a great circus performer. People will only respond to what you show them. People can't imagine you as a diamond expert if you have never brought it up or if you've never demonstrated an interest in it. So it's important that you ask yourself, what am I interested in and what am I going to do with my future? And also, if you love your job, if you are completely on track with your life, if you feel like you're living your dream, this is going to give you even more security and more information which you can use to move forward on that exact same path. So it's not like you have to reinvent the wheel here. It's just about that self-belief which is going to fuel the next part of your journey. So enjoy that. And the good thing is that this last 6 months, so if you've got plans and dreams for 2021, hello, then this is really going to support you for this first 6 months. You got December, January, February, March, April, May, till the end of May. This really opens things up. So we'll see a lot of movement. We'll see a lot of people changing their lives or really progressing in the way that they want. And there's a lot of potential here. So this is really good news. I think it's exactly what we need even on a cultural, social level. We've had a year that's been a certain way. So this is now really a change of energy, and the pace picks up and you're really able to take control of your life. Yes. Amazing. Okay, that is it. I'm just looking at whether the Grand Trine is a kite, but it isn't. Yeah. What am I missing? Am I missing something? No. I think I've looked at it enough now. Okay. So that's what I get for you for this full moon in Gemini, which is also a, a penumbral lunar eclipse, which will influence you for this next 6 months. If you would like a personal reading with me, the way this chart is drawn up, the way you can see it next to me, I draw up your birth chart in the same way. I take your date of birth, your place of birth, and your time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, get in touch with me for a chart rectification. That's a process where I work out your time of birth. It's kind of important because the chart changes every 4 minutes. So having the time is really helpful. Once I've got that info, I draw up a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born, so I've got your natal chart, and that tells me everything about you, your default setting, your vocational aptitudes, your talents when it comes to your career and your work, your love life, work, health, moving, finance, sense of self, spiritual progress, anything like that. So if you have any questions that you'd like to talk to me about, or you'd like a second pair of eyes to look at your circumstances and see the way forward, which is what this is all about, then I'm never going to tell you what to do. I will tell you what I see in your chart and where I think you're most able and talented, and then you make the decisions. So if you would like a little bit more info to work with, then please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. Go to gregoryscott.com and click on the button on the front page, book your reading, and you can order your appointment with me. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and share the video online. Have a lovely time here during this eclipse. Laura, thank you again for my new favorite t-shirt. I absolutely love it. Have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you soon.